Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. Again, if you're gonna act all self-righteous, if you're gonna pretend as if you're the side of moral right, calling out all the evils in the world, fighting the authoritarian takeover of the nation, well then you better at least have some public support. If you're gonna act all high and mighty and continue flailing your arms around, running around the room like a damn lunatic, well then you better at least have something to back up your righteous behavior. And well, you get exactly where I'm going with this. Democrats have none of it. Nothing. As we're now learning that approval for Democrats in Congress is totally in the gutter, an all-time low. Despite their best efforts to grandstand here, to gaslight, and to paint Donald Trump as the literal worst thing to ever happen to America, well, it's clear the public isn't buying it. And now their golden boy, Minority Leader Jeffries, the heir to the Obama throne, well, he got a little bit of a dose of that reality from, surprisingly, Jake Tapper at CNN. And honestly, it's perfect. It's the only argument needed. Democrats doing their usual shtick, scoffing, finger-wagging, and looking down on everybody else. Well, the only response necessary is, you guys got a 21% approval rating in Congress, okay? How about you shut the hell up? Let's talk about this continued collapse and demise of the Democrat Party as we know it. Let me show you guys what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so here is Jeffries doing the usual routine, spewing lazy, debunked talking points, claiming that Donald Trump wants to cut Social Security, Medicare, and veterans benefits. A flat-out lie, which was addressed last week, and just recently again in that Elon Musk/Donald Trump Hannity interview on Fox News. Jeffries then also attempts to use fake news as evidence that Donald Trump's policies are unpopular. But again, this is coming from the party with a 21% approval in Congress, and also the party that supports men in sports, open borders, endless foreign wars, need I go on? And that, of course, is exactly when Jake Tapper, of all people, yes, Jake Tapper, well, he absolutely mogged him. Take a look.
We are actually winning in court. The Trump administration is losing. We are partnering on at least 79 different lawsuits that have been brought related to about 35 different illegal or unconstitutional executive orders. And the Trump administration continues to lose in court after court after court. And that effort will, of course, be on. House Republicans, they've been on the run. They are feeling the pressure of the fact that their policies are deeply unpopular with the American people. And we've seen that play out this past week all across the country. And Democrats are going to continue to make clear that we will stand against the effort to end Medicaid as we know it, stand against the effort to detonate Social Security or Medicare, certainly stand against the effort to undermine veterans' benefits or nutritional assistance to children and families.
So it's certainly true that President Trump's poll numbers are not in a great place, although they're higher than they ever were in his first term. But Congressional Republicans polling is about 40%. Congressional Democrats polling is at about 20%. So that's an issue for you.
Oh, it's beautiful. Again, if your party is in the complete dumpster, you probably should come with a little bit more of a apologetic tone in general. You know, the Democrats should be really apologizing now, begging for forgiveness, and really trying to get feedback from voters as to what they want and then pivoting and reforming from there. But no, instead we get this continued grandstanding, and it's just so cringe considering the current dynamic. The Democrat Party has been ditched, and likely the numbers are much worse than this. The latest poll from Quinnipiac shows Americans' approval of Democrats in Congress sitting at a negative 47 rating, 21% approve and 68% disapprove. This is the lowest rating I think I've ever seen. This is matching the Republican Party when they were down in the dumps. And again, you think the Democrats would take a hint, but obviously they're complete egomaniacs, they're complete narcissists. And so instead, what are they doing? Well, they're continuing to throw complete tantrums and attempt to lecture the American people. But clearly, nobody is interested. And what's funny is we got all these Democrats talking about how nobody supports the right-wing agenda, nobody supports the Republican MAGA agenda. But how can you make that argument if your party's legislative bunch is sitting at 21% approval? I mean, the argument that they're making is that nobody wants what the Republicans are offering, which of course means they must want what the Democrats are offering, right? Well, obviously not. And these Democrats seemingly can't wrap their head around that very basic concept, and now I think they're making it much worse for themselves, shooting themselves in the foot a little bit, self-sabotage. And we see that very clearly in the numbers, because this 21% approval rating, guess what, is lower than it was last week. It's lower than it was 2 weeks ago, lower than it was a month ago, much lower than it was on Inauguration Day, meaning as the Democrats continue to act the way that they're acting, the song and dance, the interpretive dancing outside the Kennedy Center, the constant lawfare and lawsuits against the Trump administration. Yeah, well, I guess the Democrat approval ratings that are coming out right now are telling us very clearly that the American people don't agree with any of it. The righteous tone from these Democrats is totally unfounded. They're in this constant state of delusion where they convince themselves that the American people is always on their side. And frankly, I think it's why they're so totally unbearable all the time. Nobody likes a self-righteous prick. And of course, in conjunction with that, nobody likes a liar. And that's exactly what the Democrats are doing. They're lying just as they always do. Like that old piece of rhetoric from Bernie Sanders, the overwhelming majority of the American people agree with all my policy stances. Democrats always pretend as if everybody agrees with them on everything. We represent the majority view. But just look at the numbers on the issues. Democrats are on the losing end of every single issue, or at least nearly every single issue, and even the big issues that are supposed to be their crown jewels like healthcare and others, they're basically tied with Republicans. The party's in the damn gutter, and everybody I think knows this, yet we're still here getting lectured by Hakeem Jeffries with his gaslighting BS. And it's not just the approval stuff, this idea that, everything's going so bad for the Trump administration, they keep losing. Imagine that, the losers pointing the finger at the other side, the guy who keeps winning and winning and winning, and claiming he's the loser. Donald Trump is losing in court, we're beating him in court. I mean, really? Because I'm pretty sure most of the reports that we've seen in the news lately have shown the exact opposite.
Federal judge just handed Elon Musk's Doge a win ruling, and he can now access data to 3 government agencies.
Yeah, that's right. There was an attempt by some groups to essentially block Elon Musk from gaining access to sensitive information from some of these agencies, including the Consumer Financial Protection Board and the Department of Labor. A federal judge, though, ultimately handing down a decision that says that Elon Musk can get access to that information.
A federal judge is allowing President Trump's mass layoffs to press forward while legal proceedings continue. More than 6,000 people working at the Internal Revenue Service were set to be let go before the week's end. The layoffs come in the middle of tax filing period, but an email sent to IRS managers and obtained by CBS News says the employees terminated were not deemed as critical to the filing season.
Democrats have been engaging in pathetic sabotage lawfare using their Obama judges, their Obama activist judges, I might say, to weaponize their authority and positions in an attempt to stop the Trump administration in its tracks, and they've been doing so unlawfully. And just recently, we've had 2 huge rulings, one essentially confirming that Elon Musk does in fact have the authority, acting on behalf of the president, the executive, to gain access to the data of these departments that he's auditing. And then the latest court victory essentially confirms that Donald Trump has absolute authority to fire federal workers, even though Democrats have been screeching from the top of the mountains that these are illegal firings. We've seen so many Democrats saying that, and even the people being fired themselves, these Democrat operatives pretending to be civil servants, claiming that they've been fired illegally, but the courts seem to have a different interpretation of the Constitution. In other words, Trump is winning in court, but this clown, Hakeem Jeffries, has the audacity to show up on CNN and make the claim that Donald Trump is losing in court. Yeah, maybe he's losing in the first process with your activist federal judges who are issuing these decisions and injunctions, but the moment it gets to a higher court, or another court, or the Supreme Court, he keeps winning. Who's buying this crap anymore? And honestly, a better question, why does Hakeem Jeffries think that it's a good idea to show his face in general, or to lead any public opposition, when his Congress's approval rating is sitting at 21%? Hakeem, I'd suggest maybe a little less blah blah blah, a little less talking, and maybe just resign in disgrace, because obviously everything around you is falling apart. Anyways, that's pretty much what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.